Hey, welcome to Derek's Stuff. I just wanted to do a quick video. I've had several people ask questions about which attachment for the front of the tractor I think is best. I have the forks here. These are 4-foot forks. They extend out to about almost 4 feet. This is my 60-inch Titan attachment grapple, root grapple. This is my Titan attachment's 29-inch log grapple. So there's quite a bit of difference between these. It all depends on what you plan on using it for, which one is best for you. The forks, honestly, for me, the forks are on the tractor more than anything. I move totes, I move logs, I move a lot of stuff. It's a little bit harder to control when you're having big bulky stuff, but it's a little more precise when you want to really slip in and grab something and move it around. The log grapple works really good for picking logs out of a pile, one at a time, or sorting them. Let's say you have different species like ash and beech and maple and birch and you want to sort them all out. This is hands down the best. But if you saw those up, or let's just say you're just moving a whole pile of wood and you just need it moved, that obviously is going to be a little bit quicker. So the biggest thing is that the weight, okay? So these forks, this whole setup maybe weighs 300 pounds. This grapple over here weighs about 420 something pounds. This grapple weighs almost 600 pounds. So that's a huge thing. This tractor, this is a Coyote NS 4710 hydrostatic, is rated to lift almost 2,900 pounds. So basically any one of these attachments, you're gonna be able to lift most anything that we're gonna move around here. Let's start. I'm actually gonna show the pros and cons. I'm gonna show each attachment, picking a log out of the pile over here. I'm gonna start with this, with the log grapple from Titan Attachments, and show you, if I wanna pick up a whole group of logs, these are all oak, it's gonna be very beneficial to use that grapple when I'm lifting oak, because it is lighter. The grapple is light enough where I can grab a lot of pieces of oak. The controls are right here. The right side button opens the grapple, the left side button closes the grapple. This is factory installed. This is not a bypass, a hydraulic bypass assembly. This is factory installed. So I can use this while at the same time as I'm moving the loader, and it's fine. It's real quick. All right, so you see I could grab this whole pile right here, scoop it up, clamp down, lift it up. We've got a whole pile of logs, just like that. Very nice, very easy, perfect for this. Okay, so now I'm gonna touch the log that I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna grab this log right there, okay? So I can close up my grapple, nice and slow, this, and I can just barely pinch it. Okay, I got a hold of it, and then I just lift it up, and as I lift it up like this. Okay, I just pick it up out of a pile pretty easily like that. Okay, so now I can move that around. Let's say that was a different species I wanted to sort it out. So I'm gonna set that back down. And I'm gonna move over, turn it this way. Okay. And I try to pick it up. See, it just pushed it past. I can't grab it. I have to kind of aim that hits my left side bar, pick it up like that. All right, that's not ideal when you're moving around. All right. So now I will take these off, put the forks on, go to grab this, push them all under there, roll it back, and lift it up. So my lift capacity has been diminished, but you see the log all the way out. It's not perfectly centered on the fork, so it's gonna fall off. If I move around, it'll probably fall off. It's not on there very stable. But I can lift these up. If you were gonna transport wood and you had them perfectly even, that would work perfectly fine. But the disadvantage is, set these back down, that same log that I picked up with the log grapple, okay, it's way in here. If you look, my forks have to be almost perfectly even. but it's going to touch the one on the bottom underneath it first. So right now, as this comes forward, this fork is touching this log, but it's not underneath that one. It's not underneath this log. So I have to roll it, push it down in. Well, by the time I get there, I increase the chance of knocking the whole pile over. So I'll just grab a hold of it and flip it up. If I come in like this, you can see pretty well, and then I just push down and roll it up and lift it out of the pile. Kind of like that. All right? So that was pretty flawless because it wasn't tangled in there. If that were tangled in the pile, that would be very difficult to do. So I'm going to put it back. All right? Put it back in the same spot where it was. Okay? And clearly you can see, even if the forks were moved really closely, it's going to be very difficult to pick up that round. Even if I move the forks in closer to each other, it'd be quite difficult to lift that up. So now I'm going to put I'll put the root grapple on. So this root grapple, tight attachment, 60-inch grapple. So I'm going to move this pile back. So if I wanted to come into this pile, this grapple, I just tilt like this, but I have to watch out for the top part of the grapple is actually can hit the wood right there. So I have to pull it in like this, grab them. Even though they're uneven, doesn't matter. This grapple, you can see how one side closes before the other side closes. You can see there how even though it's uneven, the load is uneven, it still works perfectly fine for grabbing them out of a pile. As long as you're moving the whole pile. All right, so I'm going to set these back down. All right, now I'm going to try to pick out this one right there, okay? I'm going to try to get that one out of the pile without knocking the whole pile over. You can see how much more difficult it is to try to approach that. So as the bottom bar comes in, the bottom teeth come in, you can see I can't really get them under the log. I'm more or less pushing against it. But you can see the top grapple part. See how if I close those, they're almost hitting those the logs up on top. So it's going to be difficult for me to grab just that one out of the pile. So I have to put some force going forward with the tractor, lift up to kind of get it out of there, and then move back, and it didn't even grab it. So I can close this up. I come up here like this and try to grab it like that. But now look at the bottom of the grapple. It's almost hitting the logs. So I have to like pinch and pull as I move forward, and it makes more work to try to get that thing into that grapple. And now let's see if I can get it. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. So it makes more work to grab that with this grapple than with the log grapple. And even with the forks, it's a little easier. So I'm just going to put that back. This grapple is pretty heavy, so obviously your lift capacity is lowered because of the weight of the grapple. So if you were going to buck rounds with a chainsaw, I'll grab this log over here. If you were going to buck rounds with a chainsaw right out of the grapple, this is definitely not the grapple that you would want to use. Okay, let me show you why. This would definitely not be my preferable way of doing it. So, clearly the log grapple would have an advantage at this, okay? Because the log grapple closes up to about 4 inches. It's kind of loose in there. It'll move. So if you're cutting with a chainsaw, you would want to cut from this side because the log is going to try to roll back, right? Which comes back, stops here. But if you cut from this side, you know, the thing is going to try to pull toward you while you're cutting. The other thing is, if you look, let's say you're bucking rounds out of this, okay? And, sorry about the sun. So if you wanted to buck rounds off this, you come over here with your chainsaw and you cut off 2 blocks, okay? Then you go over to the other side and you cut off 1, 2, 3 blocks. Well, now you have a piece that's, you know, almost 5 feet in the middle. Well, it's over 5 feet in the middle. And now you have to set it down on the ground, cut down lower, roll it, and finish your cuts. This grapple is not ideal for that. You could cut from both sides, then set it down on the ground, push it around, grab it between these tines and this one, and pinch it. I'll show you that. Right? Now I can grab it like this, scoop it up, and pinch it. This, and then lift it up. Pinch it like that, and then lift it up. See, now I can come in from the end, and I could buck this like that. All right. So because I have it pinched in the grapple over there, I got it closed up pretty tight. Now I could actually just start cutting here. I could buck this like this, right? The problem is that how often do you pick up a log like this? Almost never. You would only be left with one extra cut. So if you cut from out there at 16-inch blocks, by the time you got here, you would have only one cut. So yeah, that's a good way to do it. But your piles are almost never in that orientation. They're turned sideways. So you come in from the angle, from the side, and it's actually less work. You're just grabbing a hold of it. This, you have to grab a hold of it, pull it out of a pile, set it on the ground, turn it around, grab a hold of it from the end, lift it up. It's so much more work, so much more time consuming. So the log grapple obviously wins when pulling wood out of the pile and cut them up. So which one would you pick? If you were gonna go and buy a grapple, or a way to move wood, doesn't need to be a grapple, could be forks. Which one would you buy? So that's my take on it. So if you're trying to make a decision, which one you think is best for you, just think about it. Do you move things with forks? Do you move things with that are cut up into small pieces? This obviously would be better for that. Or picking out, very, very precisely picking out from a pile, the log grapple wins. If you're setting boulders, you're setting rocks, log grapple wins. This would work, but you have a lot more to work with if you're working in small spaces, whereas the log grapple would win on that. So this log grapple and that log grapple are both Titan attachments. This set of forks I bought online. Honestly, I bought them off Amazon. They're a great set of forks. These are 4-footers, rated for 4,000 pounds. It's got a trailer hitch receiver here and 3 spots for bale spears. I love these forks. They've been phenomenal. And I didn't think too highly of them when I bought them. I didn't think they were going to be much, but they've turned out to be absolutely phenomenal forks. And I like the frame. The frame's pretty cool. So let me know in the comments which one you think you would want the most. So the drawback of either one of these hydraulic grapples is that you need auxiliary hydraulics. And a lot of tractors, like my Ford tractor, I don't have auxiliary hydraulics on the front. So it's either a bucket or forks. So the grapples are designated just for this machine, which I guess is better because this machine will lift, 2.5 times what the Ford will. It all boils down to what you think is best for you. These grapples have become extremely expensive. This grapple new is almost $4,000. That grapple new is close to $2,000. Money well spent, but they are expensive. The forks, $600. So most people who have a tractor can usually afford forks, and that's one of the first things that they buy after they have a bucket on the tractor. So yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. I love them all, and I want more. Later.